F9 is directed by Justin Lin, who made 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is like the veteran of the Fast and the Furious franchise. He's made my favorite one in 5, and 6 is also pretty close. Like, he's made my two favorites, 5 and 6. So in the latest installment, Cypher enlists the help of Jacob, Dom's younger brother, to take revenge on Dom and his team, which as usual leads them on a merry chase around the globe in really fast cars doing insane things off of bridges and cliffs, city streets, and some other places too that many people have suggested they might go one day. I'm a fan of this franchise. Look, I have the tire collection. I get excited for these movies. I enjoy watching them. They're the right kind of movie you need every once in a while throughout the year. A really, really stupid, mindless film that allows you to just have fun and kind of release yourself from the world's concerns. Certain installments are better than others, and some are very forgettable. When it comes to F9, all of these movies have ever so slightly pushed towards absurdity. Fast 5, I think, is still the best one, but even that film had them with their cars and the fucking bank vaults behind them just tumbling down the road, and it was so hilarious and funny. Fast 6 had a dude kind of flying across the fucking bridge, which didn't really make sense. So Fast 9, I think they actually lost me on this one. Like, I love absurdity, but this movie is laughable. It is 100% a cartoon. It's the closest to hilariosity that this franchise has ever gotten. It's all skillfully done. Justin Lin is a great director, and he's very, very good with action set pieces. But the dialogue and the characterization and the things that take place in this movie might as well be science fiction. It's gotten to a point where I couldn't really believe anything that was happening. Human beings in this film are bounced around as if they were a pool ball in a pool game. They just get knocked all over the place. Cars often catch human beings from falls, which in the beginning of the movie, you meet Dom and Letty's son, Brian, and they have this peaceful life together, but then they're brought back into action when Tyrese and Ludacris show up, and they never really explain what they did with Brian the whole time. Like, they're far off in the middle of nowhere, purposefully away from everybody. Like, who's babysitting Brian? Where was he? That poor kid was locked in a wooden box this whole movie, I know it. The things that happen in this movie are absolutely ridiculous. And I've come to expect that with these films, but the Fast movies always sort of rode this line. They were just about threatening to sort of teeter into parody, but they always were very careful to stay in a somewhat sense of realism where you could watch the film and at least get invested in it without bursting out into laughter every time a human being is thrown 20 stories down into a fucking pool of water with concrete debris flying all over him, and then he has a vision, and we're supposed to take that seriously, which happens in this movie. The films were very good at teetering on that line. Writer Chris Morgan wrote every single one from 2 to 8, including Hobbs and Shaw. This is the first film that is not including Chris Morgan since the original Fast and the Furious. And honestly, I never realized how much the writer of the Fast and the Furious franchise sort of got it, because this doesn't really feel like one. It feels kind of like they're imitating one, but they're going so far and kind of placating a lot of the internet's wishes and jokes and memes about what Fast and the Furious could eventually become that I think they took that a little bit too seriously and actually did a lot of it, and watching it just kind of took me out of the experience. I mean, Vin Diesel is picked up by John Cena in this movie, and then John Cena runs through an open doorway, and the back of Vin Diesel's head crushes the door frame, and he doesn't even move. He's like a steel wall that smashes through this door frame, and he's just like, huh? What was that? He doesn't even react. I was like, wow. And then the same thing happens to this other big dude, except he's on top of a fucking truck, and behind him comes a large green metal street sign, like on a highway, and it just plows through his head, and he's just like, what? Huh? So basically, if you go into this movie knowing that it's kind of a comedy, actually, you're going to have a great time. If you want it to be more like the other Fast movies, I think you might be disappointed by the fact that it's just not. And you can tell the filmmakers this time around are very aware of that, because they have Tyrese theorize throughout the movie whether or not they're invincible. Ludacris is like, no, we're just lucky. Tyrese is like, I think we might be superheroes. And he starts naming all the things they've survived. And then, as you know from the trailers, Han is magically back as well, even though he died. And so there's all this like speculation throughout the movie about, are they actually just superheroes? Are they invincible? And it's, I don't know. I thought it was kind of dumb, honestly. I get that they're being self-aware, but I don't know. It just kind of took me out of the movie. The middle portion of this movie really sags. There's a great action sequence early on that was really exciting, but having to explain why Han is back with this elaborate flashback and all of this talk about some kind of device they're trying to get, and then more flashbacks with John Cena and Vin Diesel and what they were doing when they were kids. The middle portion of the movie feels like so much setup for the inevitable next film, which has to be called FX. If they don't call it FX, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. In a way, F9 feels like a setup movie for another movie. And that's very disappointing. These movies don't really have to do anything except have cool fight scenes and car chases, and that's it. Speaking of fight scenes, the inevitable clash between John Cena and Vin Diesel was really weak. Nothing like The Rock versus Diesel in F5. This was like, it was like a minute long or something. It was kind of bullshit, actually. I was surprised. A lot of people know about something that happens in this movie, but some of you might not, so I'm just going to give a very minor spoiler warning. If you don't want to know about the truly crazy thing that happens in the film, I'm going to talk about it briefly. But I don't really think it's really a spoiler. A lot of people are talking about it. People are aware of it. Still, just in case you don't want to know anything, spoiler warning. There's been a meme for the Fast and the Furious movies for like 7 years that they should just go to space. Well, they did. And it's not just like a funny little winking reference to being sort of in the atmosphere. Like they're straight up in orbit in a car with a rocket. I don't know. This one kind of lost me, guys. I feel like they truly jumped the shark here, or jumped the fucking orbit, whatever the new term will be after this movie comes out. I'm gonna give F9 a C-. This movie will entertain a lot of people, especially if you just go into it thinking it's a comedy. Then I think you'll really have a good time. So keep that in your head if you go to see the movie. But don't expect it to be like all emotionally like powerful or something. It's just, they call it a keystroke. The movie is a keystroke. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. Look forward to more reviews very soon. And if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmannized.